it's funny. Me and Zoe got into a big fight about like the over Austin's bed is a giant subway sign. And she was like, well, that's so cliche. And I was like, exactly. We all had one. Hi, it's Darren Aronofsky. Today we are breaking down a scene from my new movie, Caught Stealing, on Letterboxd.
Два кусочка с пепперони взял. Пошел в жопу, бро! Почему мы должны ждать этих ребят? Олег, сколько раз повторять, возьми вы задергать. Я огромный толпой. Сколько раз? Лёг, жопу, хоть два.
Been in hundreds of those apartments on fourth floor walk-ups for parties in the all through the 90s and all through the last 30 years. They definitely have a feel and a vibe. But you surround yourself with like an incredible production design team, great set dressers, great prop people. And luckily we're making a New York film with a New York crew, many of them who lived in the 90s with that world. So there were a lot of surprises that came that I was like, oh yeah, of course. Like even like there's like the spool table, which is just like, everyone had a spool table. And I guess they were a spool for cable or something. Probably it was actually they were laying cable back then, and that they used to come and they would throw them out and they would like the perfect table. So like just all those details. Look, drones have like totally changed the way you can shoot a movie in so many different ways. They often get abused, and so I was just always looking for like, hey, what can we do with a drone for shots that have never been done? So there's that shot, it's in the trailer, it's not a spoiler, going through the Unisphere, which has never been done. I don't know if we were allowed to do it. We actually didn't get a full permit for it, but I was like, hey, let's just go for it, and we got that great shot. And then, the canyon that's formed by tenement buildings in the East Village. The second I got up there, I was like, oh, we got to do a drone shot through here. It's super fun. But there's a lot of digital help in a shot like that because things have changed. You have cell towers, and you have all the barbed wire that's there. There's no more barbed wire in the East Village, but there was a lot of barbed wire back then. The graffiti has been cleaned up largely, so we had to add a bunch of tags. It's weird. They're calling it a comedy. Like all these interviews, everyone's like, "Oh, so how does it feel to do a comedy?" I'm like, "Huh?" I mean, I guess there's a lot of jokes in it, and the jokes keep coming, which is kind of great. And I think it definitely was in Charlie's writings, our screenwriter's writings, but I think also the actors were great. Like Liev Schreiber playing this badass hitman that's unexpected, and he just brought so much slight humor. Matt Smith can't stop but be funny. And then Austin's a great straight man, which is what his job in this film is, just like this crazy, absurd stuff happening around him, and he's just trying to hold on and keep it cool.
I need you to take care of my cat.
I like cats.
I like dogs.
The cat was remarkable. It's an interesting thing because I've never worked with a trained animal before, and Melissa, the trainer, is such a humane person and so like a cat whisperer, or an animal whisperer, because she has other types of animal, but so in tune with that creature that the cat ran the set. And the cat, when the cat was coming to set, the cat would get excited. She's like, "Oh, Tonic's ready to work. Tonic is excited," and you could see Tonic's like looking around, like, how do I get into this? What do I need to do? And it's not like they don't use hunger anymore. It's just like the cat's incredibly well fed and well treated. It's just the favorite thing he wants to eat is hanging out, ready for him. And then, as soon as Tonic is like done, we're done. But the reality is, I was told by everyone, all my producers, my ADs, like, working with a cat, it's gonna destroy the day. And I'd literally get it in 1 or 2 takes with this cat. The cat was a spectacular creature. And I met a lot of cats along the way, and there was like, it's truly a gem of a creature. Nikita's great. I think he's a discovery. I think he's going to have a huge career. He's so passionate, and I love him. So I was visiting Moscow for a film festival, and I went to see some famous Russian director's theater thing, and Nikita was starring in it, and I was just blown away by it. And he just was explosive, and I wanted to meet him. So I said hello afterwards because it was just clear he was like trained as a physical clown, but also just so emotional. Turns out he's actually pretty well known in Russia. Like he does like Putin for their SNL, and he's actually had to flee since the war. When I was trying to cast this movie, I met a lot of actors, and then I suddenly had a moment. What about Nikita? My concern was his size because he's playing a heavy, but pound to pound, he's one of the strongest human beings ever, and so you can see that the physics, like you never doubt that he could take out Hank. But I was concerned because he's two heads smaller than Hank, but and he's just great. He's exceptional and incredibly creative. Like at one point, not to do a spoiler, there's that scene where he uses his head, and like I'll never forget it. He's like, "Oh, how about Darren? I do this," and I remember standing behind him was the stuntman. Nikita's back was to him, and the stuntman was like, and I was like sitting there going, well, I've never seen that before. Let's see what it looks like. And then it turns out to be this memorable, and that's when I realized this guy's going to come up with a lot of ideas, and I should just work with him. When I first started working on the film, I was like, this film needs a house band. And as a big fan of Idols, I reached out to Joe, and I was like, hey, would you guys ever? And he was like, yes, would love to. So I sent him the script, and he wrote 4 or 5 songs. All of them ended up in the movie. That's how in tune he was. But then I was like, okay, this film also needs a score. So I brought on my Rob Simonson, my collaborator from The Whale and Postcard from Earth. And then very quickly I was like, hey, is there a way we could write a score that the Idols perform? So every single sound in the movie that's not a needle drop is from Idols.
That's awesome. That really fits with the rest of the soundtrack. I mean, you have my favorite Bowie song in the movie, Afraid of Americans.
Oh, thank you.
Love that.
That was my son's suggestion. It's an interesting album, that album from Bowie, because it's actually 1997, so the year is perfect. And I missed that album back in the day. I didn't actually tune in, but he was totally in line with what was happening musically. And then that was the song I picked, and then it turned out I guess that was the hit, because I guess 9 Inch Nails did something.
Yeah, Reznor produced it.
Oh, did he really? Oh, that's why he's in the video. Okay, I didn't understand that. I enjoyed doing the action in this film, and I think mostly because it wasn't CG action film, which I've done. Like in Noah, there was a lot of CG to bring giants to life and masses of hundreds of thousands of people and giant waves. But in this movie, it was all real physics-based action. That was a big kind of intent, was to return the action to like great New York City films of the 70s and 80s, like After Hours and French Connection and Dog Day Afternoon, where there's like real physics in the action sequences. And when you're working in that world and you have like an athlete like Austin Butler, who's in incredible shape and moves really well, it's fun and in a safe way to kind of execute it. So yeah, Austin was hanging off of a 6-story building, which was definitely precarious. He was jumping over counters and sliding stuff and throwing punches. It was all done in a safe way, but like realistic, because what we were going for was real action. I think action films they're great, and it's amazing when you see Tom Cruise hanging off of an airplane taking off in real life. But that kind of direction has inspired all these copycat films where the physics don't quite make sense. And I just wanted to go back to something that was grounded and real.